Hey everyone, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and we're back now with part 17, is it, of this build of this beautiful DeAgostini 1/6 scale Shelby GT500 Mustang from 1967. And yeah, what a beautiful car it is. It's 1/6 scale, it's absolutely huge, very, very heavy, big old model, and yeah, it's a lot of fun to build. If you want to join in, look in the description below this video, just there, and you will see a link, and you can click on that link and that will take you to DeAgostini, where you can have a look and see how much it costs and what's available and what the gifts are and this, that and the other. With this one, this is the 9th delivery, so we actually got this beautiful little 1/43 scale GT500 in the green with the with beautiful details. You can see it's really, really nice, a lovely little model in 1/43 scale, and yeah, very nice indeed. So looking forward to putting that on display. So we're going to crack on in here with 37, and we're going to finish off with 38, which is going to be the last video for delivery number 9. So get the magazine as we usually do, and then we'll look at the parts and do some building. So yeah, Alaska's roads. As a result of its harsh climate and rugged terrain, Alaska's roads are now some of the toughest and most dangerous in the world. I'm sure we've all seen the ice truckers and all that, and it talks here about the history. They bought Alaska from Russia in 1867 for $7.2 million, so that must be like $85 billion today. But anyway, an impressive view of Dalton Highway at the Atagon Pass in the Brooks Range. So there we are. So going over the page, we've got some more beautiful images of a tanker driving southwards along the Dalton Highway, which runs alongside the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. You can see they've got the road all marked out there. And we can see here some pictures of how it all looks when it's all covered in snow and ice and everything. And there we go. And then we've got this. The Sheldon Runabout of 1905 was the first car in Alaska. It was built by a 20-year-old soldier, Robert Sheldon, in Skagway. And with its 4-horsepower 2-stroke engine, it could reach 17 miles an hour. There you go. That's what you need. Not an electric car. You need one of them. Joking. So we've got the parts here for the actual build. So we're just doing a left rear fender. So it's going to be a very simple build, I swear. And here we're going into the final failure at Le Mans. In 1965, Ford lined up a team of 6 cars, again which Ferrari ranged from 3 official units and another 7 prepared by its clients. It was to be Italian's last victory. I'm guessing Porsche took over then, I don't know. But I'm sure if you get the magazine, it'll all be in here, all the information you need to know. And you can see Bruce McLaren and Ken Mars, 7-litre Ford GT Mark II, had to withdraw when its gearbox broke in the 4th hour of the race. So probably reliability issues failed them. The impressive Ford garage of the 24 Hours of Le Mans in the foreground. The car bearer number 6 was the Flippinetti's team, driven by Swiss driver Herbert Muller and the American Ronnie Bachmann. Ferrari 275 GTB, which Bewley's and Mary's achieved 3rd overall position and victory in the GT category. There's another Ferrari there, as you can see. And here we got Jochen Rindt and Maston Gregory wearing glasses, prepare to uncork the winner's champagne on the podium. So yeah, unfortunately Ford went in and didn't come out with any silverware as it was. So here we have number 37. Let's have a look and see what we've got. So we've got a bag of parts here. We'll get the magazine out of the way. We'll get the light on, as we always do, because we're going to be doing building work. And you hear that every time. I have to say it because otherwise people say, why didn't you have the light on for this? So here we have an inner rear fender. Yep, they're calling it a left rear wheel fender. It's an inner fender. So this would have been sheet steel on the rear car, on the real car, but for this case it's made in plastic. And we should have some screws, yes, and I threw the bag to the side and there are some screws in here. So we've got some DSO2 screws. And they are going to be, their DS means they're die cast, so they're threaded rather than self-tappers. I have actually gone in already and actually gone in and threaded the holes. I've tapped the holes, so they're already ready for already ready for the screws to go in. So we don't have to worry about having to graunch those screws in. So we're going to fit this on here, and it's appearing to be a little troublesome because there's some springiness in the plastic. So look, what we've got here, we've basically got these holes in here, which will go over these posts on the floor. So if I put that one in first, it's difficult to get that one lined up. If I put that one in first, it's difficult to get that one lined up. But I'm sure it will go. We just need to, there we go. So that one's in there, that one's in there, there we go, we've got them all in. So we're going to grab some screws, and these are DS02 screws, so they're M2.3 by 4 millimeters. So we can go in there, and that one's going to be going down. I'm not worried about having screws not tightened down because these are actually all, everything is sat on posts, so that's it. So this whole model is going to be held together with all these little screws. So we want to make sure they're all nice and snugly down, nice and tight. There we go. There we go, nice and tight. And there we are. And then the spare screw, I've got an old Tamiya paint jar here. They always give you a spare screw, which is dead handy because, as you saw in the last video with the wheel, it's nice to have those spare screws to hand to use on there. So there we go. So that is pack 37, I believe. Yeah, pack 37. So that's that one done. Let's have a look what's in pack 38. Okay, so here we go. Pack 38. Yes, you've just heard my V8 rumbling again. That's a great image, isn't it? We got the big Shelby badge on the back with the big cobra there. So here we go, pack 38, and we've got all the usual stuff down here. As I say, if you want to join in with this, in the description down below you can find a link to go to DeAgostini. So the American Dream legendary convertibles, and by golly did they build some big beautiful convertibles that were probably like driving a waterbed around because they were so massive and so heavy. And yeah, they had like, you know, 9-litre V8s producing 120 horsepower or whatever. I'm being facetious, but yeah, you know what I mean. So magnificent and majestic. The famous Cadillac Eldorado was probably the most spectacular convertible of the 50s. And yeah, what a beautiful car. This is when designers went to work and they made the cars look like spaceships or aeroplanes or whatever, and they gave them these great big fins and lights that came out as like big cones and everything. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at that. Can you imagine? That's a Buick Skylark. Can you imagine anything being designed like that today? You know, nothing has chrome on it anymore. It's just plastic and made as cheaply as can possibly be made and sold for as much as they can possibly get for it. The most popular convertibles had very strong identities, and like the Chevrolet Impala, they also stood out with their impressive size. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. When I first went to America, we went in 65, and my dad, I think he bought a 1962 Impala. It wasn't a convertible. And then he bought a 65 Impala a little bit later on. But yeah, what a great big car. Beautiful. Are they talking about performance? He had a 292 cubic inch engine. Lincoln Continental. They didn't talk about the horsepower. They were crazily low horsepower. And there's a Corvette there, look. Absolutely gorgeous. Chevrolet's flagship. Absolutely gorgeous Corvette. And there's people yachting in the background. Beautiful, beautiful car. So in this one, we're going to be doing the right rear leaf spring. So we're going to start on the right hand rear suspension. We got all the left hand side done. So we'll do all that. The invincible Ford Sierra Cosworth. Oh yes. I remember I went to Donington in 1991 to watch the British touring cars, and I saw these come round for the first time around the, I can't think of the name of the corner now, but it was before the hairpin where they go back up to the start line. And I just literally shouted, "Oh effing hell!" And the guy said next to me, first time. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, you'll love this." They were absolutely incredible. 600 odd horsepower. These bloody 2-litre Sierra Cosworth touring cars. 2-litre double overhead cam engine, basically based on the Pinto. I think it was a 5L block or something, wasn't it? It was a really special block. But these days, worth an absolute fortune. And it's amazing that back then they could be tuned up to 500 horsepower from a 2-litre. And these days, I got my little GR Yaris, which is a 1.63 cylinder, and that's 285 horsepower, I think, in reality. But that would go on for 100,000 miles, and the Yaris would probably break. So there we go. And here we can see Carlos Sainz in his Carlos Sainz, should I say, in his 1988 World Rally of Catalonia in a Group A Ford Sierra Cosworth. Beautiful. And then here again we've got the touring cars, and Ford Sierra piloted by Brancatelli, Schneider and Percy won the 24 Hours of Spa, deemed the key touring car race in Europe. It certainly was. And there we've got a the Texaco one. I can't remember the team now. Summerberger, wasn't it? Eggenberger, was it? I can't remember now. So Ludwig and Nietzsche, RS500 dominated the second part of the 1987 touring car season. Only disqualification in Bathurst, where they had won, deprived them of the driver's title. Where they had won. Okay, they won and they were disqualified. Okay. An impressive drive by Tommy Mäkinen at the controls of a Ford Sierra Cosworth 4x4 in the 1991 Rally of Sweden. Of course, they stopped doing the sort of hatchback and made the 4-door saloon version of the Cosworth. But yeah, what a car. Awesome car. There's still a few around. There's some fantastic videos on YouTube if you want to go and see. But yeah, awesome car. So we got part 38. The final part of this delivery. So pack 9, pack 38, delivery number 9. So we've got an actual leaf spring here, and as you can see, it is a real leaf spring. It's made of sheet metal, and it's actually a real leaf spring. It's awesome. So we've got DS01 screws, and they're the shiny ones. We'll have to remember that. So we'll get those out of the bag. And then we have PS05 screws, and they're the black screws, and we'll have to remember that. So they're going to be going into plastic. They're going to be going into metal, into tapped holes that I've previously cut the threads in. And then here we have the actual, what do they call this? Shock absorber support plate. It's actually the spring clamp. This is actually what's going to clamp the spring together to the axle. And then we've got two pivot pins there, and we've got a couple of spring hangers there for the end of the spring. So let's have a look. So place the rear end of the right rear leaf spring, the furthest one from the center hole, inside the rear leaf spring support, as shown in the right hand circular picture below. Make sure the support is orientated as shown. So place the rear end of the right rear leaf spring. So we've got the rear end, which is here. This is longer than here, so this is the rear and this is the front. That's what the instructions are showing us. And then we're going to take this stepped unit here, and we're going to make sure it's the same as it is in the instructions. So we've got the spring this way up, so we're looking at these rivets here. We've got this bracket this way round. Okay, if you look here, you can see that bracket is that way round, so we're going to make sure it's the right way round. And then we're going to hold that in there, and then we're going to go over the page, and it's going to tell us to push a pin in. Yep, it's telling us to push a pin in, and the pin is going in from the bottom. So we're going to push it in with the plain side going in first. Just like so. We've done this already on the left. As I say, guys, you're going to see some repeated stuff here because that's the nature of the game. I've put my pliers away. These pliers aren't big enough to go around, so I'm going to have to get my other pliers out. These are the bigger ones. And hopefully these will be big enough to go around. There we go. And we're going to squeeze that pin in there. There we are. and that pin's gone. That's nice and tight, so we don't need to super glue that one like we did the last one. So that's gone on like that. You can see the recesses on the lower side of the spring, so we've got that the right way around. Now repeat this operation on the other end of the leaf spring. Insert the front end of the right rear leaf spring, the one closest to the central hole, inside the front leaf spring support. Join the pieces by inserting the other support pin through the side of the brackets, again using pliers, so the knurled end of the pin goes fully home. Now this one is all symmetrical, so we don't have to worry about which way around this one goes. And again, they're telling us to put the pin in from this side. I doubt that it matters very much. So that's going to go through the leaf spring there, and then we're going to grab the pliers and squeeze that pin in. There we are. That's not going anywhere. That's nice and tight in there. I can't push that back out with my fingers, so all good. Right, so now what we've got to do, we're going to put these screws over here out the way. Okay, put that bracket out of the way. So now what we're going to do is retrieve the chassis and from below, place the leaf spring so that the central hole is over the rear axle, as shown in the pictures above. Turn the chassis over and from the top fix the leaf spring to the chassis with two PS05 screws. That's the black ones, so we're going to be using those black screws there. So we're going to grab our chassis. I'm going to grab a block of cardboard to stand the chassis on upside down so that we don't keep breaking off this filler tube. Okay, so now we've got the rear end here, which is the furthest from the hole, and we've got the front end here, which is closest to the hole. The front end is symmetrical, the rear end is not. As you can see on here, we have an indentation here. I'm off camera, sorry guys. There is an indentation there. You can see here there's an indentation, and you've got a pin that's going to go in there, so that's going to go in there. The front one is symmetrical, it doesn't matter which way around it goes. So we're going to put that front hanger in there. I don't know where all this white stuff has come from on the bench. So we're going to put that one in there. There we go, that's gone in there, and then this rear one is going to drop in just like so. We've got that pin lined up. So what we can do is tip this up on its side, hold the leaf spring in position like I'm doing here. We're going to move that piece of cardboard. What on earth where does all that come from? I think that came out of the plastic block. I've got loads of dust in there, so I need to sort that out, don't I? Because I use that, not plastic block, cardboard block, I use that for my painting. I just dropped that screw, so we'll find that in a minute. We'll carry on here, and we're going to put a screw in the top there. We'll screw that spring hanger in. We'll just go until the screw stops, and that's it. We don't need to be trying to graunch that down like it's a cylinder head or something. And then we'll do the same here. We'll get that screw in there. As you can see, we'll pull that in just like that. Okay, so that's all done. So we've got our right hand leaf spring fitted. I'm just going to check that bracket's tight because it feels like it's got a bit of movement. Yes, it is. We've obviously got movement. Yeah, we've got movement in the spring, so that's all good. Right, so now we've got that in there. Now we need to finally place the right hand shock absorber support plate, this one, in position. Insert the pin of the support plate into the hole of the leaf spring. Finish by securing the plate with two DS01 screws as shown in the circular picture below. So this is basically going to go with this bracket here has this shock absorber mount there. That's going forward, okay? There's a pin here which is going into the leaf spring into that hole. We've got two pins here on the axle, 1, 2. They're going to go into those holes there, okay, at like sort of 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock if you like, and then these two plain holes here are where the screws are going to go into these holes here in the axle that I've previously tapped. So that's going to go like that. Okay, we're going to bring the axle up. Alright, now what I'm going to do here is get one of these screws attached to the screwdriver so I'm ready to go. Right, so we're going to lift this up we're going to pull the axle back and we're going to push those. You can see that pin there. I'm pushing that into that hole in the, what they call the shock absorber support plate, and I'm going to put a screw into there and just screw it down just a few turns to hold it in place. And then I'm going to grab another screw here and I'm going to screw that into there, hold it together, pull the axle and the spring together, and then just nip those up. Okay, so that's that. So there we go. So that, my friends, is part 38, or pack 38, complete. So we've installed that leaf spring, so now we've got both leaf springs. So I'm guessing 3940 et al. Is going to be the same here. We're going to have the brake drum, we're going to have the wheel arch, and we're going to basically complete this rear chassis, if you like. So there we go. Okay, so hope you've enjoyed that. I certainly have. It's been it's a great little build, this. As I say, if you haven't seen my last video, go back and have a look, because I have some really handy tips about these screwing these rear wheels on. I think the screws that DeAgostini are giving us, they're just not long enough, and they're okay for now, but I think if you drag the model sideways, it would literally just rip the wheel off, because there's just no thread engagement whatsoever. They need to use longer screws. So maybe that's a design change they'll make. I don't know if they watch my videos or not. I don't think they do. They're probably not interested at all. But anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you all soon. I hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the bit about the Sierra Cosworth, because wow, what a car. And I'll see you all soon, probably in about 4 or 5 weeks, with part 39, whatever that may bring. So there we go. We really are getting somewhere now with this. I'm looking forward to plonking the body on this and getting the rear seats going in here and everything. That's going to be great. I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now, guys.